Assalamu alaikum, beloved. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us again tonight for another beautiful teaching of Music of the Soul with Rahima Schmall. Rahima Schmall is a psychologist, registered nurse, and master spiritual healer who has successfully brought spirituality into her clinical practice and teaching for over 30 years. She came into Sufism in 1999. Her deepest desire was always to be in complete service and surrender to God. So when she found this path and met Sidi, she jumped in. She quit her job, sold her house, gave her dog away, and moved to the land. For a while, she was the person holding the Zawiya on the land, then the director of the Healing Intensive, and on the faculty of USHS from its inception until her recent resignation. Currently, she lives in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where she teaches healing and counseling and work with folks all over the world doing the Sufi healing. She has a deep love for God and gifted at creating a safe and nurturing space in which people with physical illness or emotional pain can work through their issues to find peace, wholeness, and harmony. As a teacher, she has a passion for helping each and every student develop their own unique gifts as healer and human being. As a healer, she excels at identifying the sometimes hidden causes of illness and distress and transforming them through the light of Allah. As a student, I personally experienced her love, her compassion, spiritual guidance as a teacher and a healer. Tonight, I am honored and excited to welcome Rahima Schmall. Her teaching will be the music of the soul on the topic of Al-Mahabba, the love and the meaning of the love. Rahima, thank you for joining us tonight and welcome.
Thank you for the introduction, Zuleha. It's so wonderful to see some people I haven't seen in so long. It's just so great. Um, and as I said earlier, I'm a little nervous because I haven't done one of these kind of classes in a really long time. So, and I'd like it to be as much as a discussion. We'll also do some experiential as well as my, teaching from Music of the Soul. So let's open with a Fatiha and the elongation of the name. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. Muhammadan Rasulullah alayhi salatullah. Ibrahim Rasulullah alayhi salatullah. Musa Rasulullah alayhi salatullah. Isa Rasulullah alayhi salatullah. So thank you I really want to thank the organizers of this series and that they're doing this as a fundraising. And I just think it's so satisfying every time I hear of what people in our Tarika are doing all over the country. So it's like, CDs passed, but the seeds have been just spread all over and they're now, coming up and flowering. So it's really, really nice. And this is a very long chapter in Music of the Soul, as any of you who have looked at it or written it or read it know. So we're not going to go over all of it. But as I was preparing for it, the song "All You Need Is Love" kept coming into my mind, and then what is it? I think it's Paul McCartney's song, "Who Needs Another Silly Little Love Song?" And then I just started thinking of how many songs are about love. And it said that Allah loved us first, and then we loved him. And this whole chapter, if you could put it down to like just, a sentence, is basically about that and how we connect to the love. And one of the things that stuck out for me, and I will be reading passages so that we can get CD's transmission, was a part toward the beginning where CD talks about we fall in love. We don't have to know the essence of the love to fall in love. We fall in love, and then that brings us to the desire of knowing the essence of Allah. And it brings me back to all the silly little love songs. How many songs are about love, and how fundamental the nature of the love is to us as an essence of us as human beings and to the creation of the world. And I want to say, whenever you feel like jumping in or asking something, please feel free to, I guess you're muted by Alima, please feel free to raise your hand and chime in. I really like things to be more discussion. And let me see. I don't want to put the book down on my keyboard and then start things moving. So I imagine in some way, everyone here on this call has felt the love of Allah. Maybe not as often as we'd like to, maybe not as deeply as we're hoping to, but we've all felt it, which put us on this path. There's a story, and I was thinking about it today, and I can't remember, it's from some Sufi path, where a man goes to a Sufi teacher and he wants to join the order, and the Sufi teacher asks him if he's been in love, and he can't say he has. And the Sufi teacher says, you can fall in love with a donkey, but you need to know the love. So this is really key and important to every. It says in the chapter, to every state and every station is actually based on the love. One of the teachers who I've studied with has said, if you read the Quran and you can't find the love, then you haven't gone deep enough. And those of us here who have read the Quran know that some of it's very strong. But if you can't penetrate and begin to experience the love that's behind it, you haven't gone as deep as you can. So I'm going to read some from, I'm on page 392 in Music of the Soul. Al-Mahabba, the love and the meaning of the love. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Know that the love is the basis of all stations and states. All stations are given a rank under it, for it is the means for the realization of every station or the fruit of its fruits, such as will, longing, fear and hope, surrendering of passions, contentment, trust, unity, and knowledge. The one who is honored and privileged in the perfection of this attribute is our master and prophet, the Imam of the messengers. May the best of prayers be upon him, and the most complete sending down of peace. Because of his existence in it, he was granted the knowledge of the secret of this attribute. This was not given to any other prophet. May Allah's peace and blessed prayers and peace be upon them all. Allah, praised and exalted is he, said, whoever obeys the prophet obeys Allah. The exalted is he also said, say, if you love Allah, follow me, Muhammad alayhi wasalam, and Allah will love you. This is enough. He has made obedience to him the source of his love, and the obedience to his love a condition for loving him. This is only so because of the abundance of light which he has poured into the lower world through him. He is therefore referred to as a clear light and as a lamp giving light, and he made him a mercy for the worlds. Through the light, the prophet, may the blessings and peace of Allah be upon him, called the people to his Lord. Exalted is he, to bring them by the light to the light. This is a secret which cannot be expressed in words, but which followers, those who have reached the truth by tasting, understand. So I want to just pause here. I know that some of you have been on this path a very long time. Some of you are fairly new. But Sidi starts this chapter talking about the importance of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, in terms of the love. The one who is honored and privileged in the perfection of this attribute is our master and prophet, the Imam and the messengers. May the best of prayers be upon him and the most complete sending down of peace. Because of his existence in it, he was granted the knowledge of the secret of this attribute. I know that different people have different relationships to the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and different relationships to him as they walk. But if we go back to he, meaning Allah, loved us before we loved him, that the whole creation is based on the divine love, and that the first light of creation is the Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him. Knowing him in our inner being as well as outer is very important. It's akin to knowing the love. The other piece of it is, for those of you who have read either Ocean of Mercy or one of the many biographies of the Prophet ﷺ and Ocean of Mercy, and you look at how he was in the world, that following and loving him means acting in the world ourselves with love and mercy, bringing that into the world. I think oftentimes we get stuck with thinking that the Sufi path is just simply an inner journey of experiencing Allah's love, seeing or experiencing the lights. However, we're really charged with bringing that love out into the world, bringing that mercy out into the world, acting in the world from love. And the greatest example we have of that is the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. So I just want to pause with that first sentence, that first paragraph, and see if there's any thoughts, questions, discussion, experiences of how you began to know the love and or the love of the Prophet alayhi salam. What opened you to that? So I'm just going to pause here and see if anybody would like to contribute. I don't
Assalamu
see.
alaikum.
Yay! Who's that?
Sarah.
Okay, it sounded like you. I just wasn't sure.
Alhamdulillah. I will share that the sentence that came most deeply into my heart was when you began the teaching by saying that first Allah loved us and then we loved him. And it's just sort of a framework, you know, that's continually opening and deepening.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Yes.
I'm sure I missed in many moments. But it is always there. So that's just really coming into my heart in a beautiful way.
Alhamdulillah, thank you. Yeah, thank you for emphasizing the importance of that. Anybody else? Anything about the relationship of the love and the prophet? Alayhi salam. Okay. So Leah, your picture just came up, but I don't know if you were going to say anything.
Yes, I just wanted to remind those who are on the phones, if they are on mute, to unmute, to speak, so we can hear.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. I see Chantel's got her hand up.
Okay, Chantel. You're still muted, it looks like. There
Assalamu
you go.
alaikum, beloved.
Alaikum assalam.
Thank you for the beautiful words and the transmission that accompanied it. So for me, when you said about being the love and the mercy in the world, you know, that reminds me that for me, that's one of the meanings of Muhammad Rasulullah. When we say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, so for me, Muhammad Rasulullah means to be the presence of the Prophet alayhi salam in the world.
Yes.
And you know, so tonight I got an opportunity to, you know, to do that. And it would be so easy to just be preoccupied, you know, with one's own life, with my own life. I was very busy. I got a call from a beloved a Muslim sister who I hear from once every 6 months. And whenever she calls, she's always in some kind of need, some kind of crisis. And, you know, I was so busy, but I knew it was like, how can I not respond to the call to be the mercy, the love? You know, even though my nafs was complaining about it a little bit, you know, but I got through that, and I, you know, was able to take time and be with her, you know, with the holy names. So, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. We drank the blossoming flower of springtime, and there came to us the one who gives the drink of the sweet wine. So we drank it, and it started flowing to the place of the secrets. I said to her, "Stop," being afraid that her light would strike me, and that the ones who were sitting with me would discover my hidden secret. The proof that the love embraces all stations and states is that the human being does not love a beloved only after he comes to know the perfection of the essence of the beloved, and knowledge is confirmed in him or is taken possession of him, so that it becomes the deep knowing. But the love comes the desire to know, and then the longing for the beauty of the essence. Also, from love comes passion and the strength of desire, and as a result, the veil arrives and the longing for closeness and reaching. After this, love of contentment grows in all that the beloved desires from the lover, together with the shunning of all else and the trusting of the lover in his solitude with the beloved, which means trusting in his isolation with the attributes of perfection, for all else non-existent, because with the attributes of perfection, for all else is non-existent because all things return to him in complete commitment to him and in complete trust in him. So just take that in for a moment. The proof that love embraces all stations and states is that the human being does not love a beloved only after he comes to know the perfection of the essence of the beloved. It's almost like, or it is, we're given to love. I mean, it's our natural instinct to love. We don't have to come to completion and know, perfection or the source of the essence of the beloved in order to love. That it's in the act of loving that brings up the longing, brings up the desire. Brings us to wanting to know the beloved completely. The states which accompany the love are friendliness, expansion, and contraction of the heart, witnessing, manifestation, annihilation, subsistence, and all such states that are included in the station of all stations and states. It is desired for him to know all these states, making no difference as to whether they are past or future. However, a simpler explanation is needed, good thing, in order to understand the station of all stations and its exact meaning, because it is beyond the grasp of the mind. So what I'd like to do at this point is take a moment and do some remembrance together. I'm sure everyone here has written at least part of Music of the Soul, if not all of it. And you all know that Music of the Soul goes beyond the mind. And you all know also that it's a somewhat magical book. I mean, Music of the Soul is like reading a book on plumbing, and while you're reading the book, the energy of the book is fixing your faucet. So the transmission from Music of the Soul really goes into your heart and opens your heart to the meaning of Sini's words. It can't be understood through the mind. So I'd like to just take a moment and do some remembrance together, reciting the Dhikr of Allah. And then we'll go on with this. And just take a moment before we even start that and asking, my beloved Lord, please help me to remember the love that's in my heart. Please help me to go deep. Help me to leave everything and everyone but you. Allah, 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 Allah. So I'm going to just skip down to the expressions that CD has quoted here. Since the love isn't understandable through the mind. Al-Hallaj said, love means standing with your beloved by taking off your attributes. Because the whole of the lover is exactly like the whole of the beloved, and his absence is the absence of his beloved, and his existence is his existence. Love is the happiness in the heart when seeing the beauty of the beloved. The reality of love is to wipe away from the heart everything but the beloved. So just from the little remembrance and just from those quotes, I want you to feel and experience what's happening in your heart right now. It may be wide open with the love. You may be getting little glimpses of the love. You may be feeling a little shut down. The experience of the love comes when we wipe away from our heart everything but the beloved. And love is a fire in the heart that burns away everything but the beloved. So there's a twofold process here. The fire of the love is working from the inside, burning off everything except for the beloved. And then from the outside, where, the walking is a commitment to put down the veils and the blockages in our heart to the full, so that we are in the essence of the beloved. Love is the inflaming of the heart for the beloved so that nothing remains of yourself. So take that in for a moment. Love is the influencing of the heart for the beloved so that nothing remains of yourself. So tap into, just for a moment, your own longing for closeness. Tap into, for a moment, letting the fire of the love burn off anything that gets in the way. And just notice what happens. We're going to do a little more remembrance of Allah right now. And just notice what happens as you set that intention. Notice what happens in your heart in terms of experiencing the love. Allah, 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 Allah. So just sit with that for a moment. So I'm going to pause again and see if there's any comments or questions or anything somebody wants to add before we go on to the paragraph on the bottom, page 394. So I marked the paragraph on the bottom of 394 because I think it's important in terms of understanding the process of the walking and the manifestation of the love inside of us. A boundary is something which divides and separates anything into sorts and kinds. But love has no sort, and it cannot be divided, and its boundary, in the literal sense, is the delight that comes to the nafs through the imagining of the presence of the essence. There is no better definition of love than this, because we find that some strange things manifest, which the truth, al-haq, exalted as he, brings about in the world because of the power of the imagination of the nafs. As the power of the imagination becomes stronger, so its influence is felt, first over the body, then passing to the outside. If the nafs is polite, then what manifests is it is full of light, and there is bliss and compulsion of a loving nature. But if the nafs is bad, the power of its imagination will be directed toward what is evil and disease, thus bringing about pain and destruction. So we talk about cleaning the nafs. We don't get rid of our nafs. We clean them. And that goes back to the example of the Prophet alayhi salam. We want our nafs to be purified so that they act with love and politeness. And the more that our nafs are purified, the more power it has in terms of experiencing the love of the beloved. It says here, if the nafs is polite, then what manifests from it is full of light, and there is bliss and compulsion of a loving nature. Compulsion of a loving nature. You know, a lot of New Age people talk about the power of love. Well, a lot of religions talk about the power of love because it's true. But we're not talking about sappy love. We're not talking about, in a sense, phony love. We're talking about the love and the light that radiates out when our nafs have been pacified. As we become more and more like the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and treat ourselves and treat others with that level of love and mercy. Also on the page before, one of the sentences, one of the quotes was, love is in the embracing. Nope, that's not the one I wanted. Well, love is an expression for the overwhelming of the heart by the beloved, which the mind is incapable of realizing and tongues are incapable of expressing. So just let yourself right now, through the transmission of Siddhi's words and the doing of the remembrance of the tongue of Allah, of the remembrance of Allah, and however deeply you can, begin to experience that love. Again, I'm going to pause here and see if anyone wants to share or say anything.
Assalamu alaikum, Rahima.
Alaikum assalam. Who is this?
Sarah again. Alhamdulillah.
Okay. Okay,
So
yeah, I didn't see you unmuted, so yeah.
that phrase popped out for me, and I'm not sure that I heard it when I previously read this chapter. Compulsion of a loving manner or nature. I wonder if you could speak about that a little more.
Where is that compulsion of a...
Compulsion of a loving nature. You just mentioned it about 2 minutes ago on this page.
Okay, I will find it again. You
Alhamdulillah.
know, the thing that I find about this book, or actually any of the books, is every time I read or write it, I feel like I've never read it before.
Alhamdulillah.
You know, because it's like it has a different meaning. And so let me see if I can find what you're referring to. I didn't remember the word compulsion.
It's about halfway through that first paragraph, beloved.
Oh, through the boundary paragraph?
Yeah, it's the beginning of that sentence is, as the power of the imagination becomes stronger.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Or if the nafs is polite.
If the nafs is polite, oh, okay, now I do remember it. If the nafs is polite, then what manifests from it is full of light, and there is bliss and a compulsion of a loving nature. So, Sarah, what's your sense of that?
It's almost like, wow. It's like you're carrying this light, and it, in a way, it uplifts you, and it feels almost like it's uplifting because you're just anchored with this happiness in your heart. And that happiness you don't want to lose. So it's just sort of exuding out is my sense of it in this moment.
Yeah, my sense is, anybody else before I say anything more? Naima, April, looks like you have.
I actually didn't mean to unmute it, but the other part that I saw was just about if the nafs is polite, then all this happens. And what I got from that was just like a complete bowing or surrendering of the nafs to the divine, to the essence of love.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what distinguishes that kind of the nafs being able to carry that. I don't know if that resonates.
Mm-hmm. You know, one of my senses of that compulsion of a loving nature, there's bliss and a compulsion of a loving nature. You know, I feel like I get several things from that. One is we are compelled more to be loving. We are attracted being more toward the love. You know, it's like it compels us to move forward. It's like, I can't live without this. And the other piece is when you're around that, like when you're around Sidi, other people feel moved by it. Fatih, who was one of our teachers a long time ago, used to say, higher stations steal lower stations. And what he would mean by that is that, you know, and when we experience this in healings, when we open our heart and give someone a healing and we're holding their heart with the love pouring from our heart, there is a compelling quality to that, in that it opens the love in their heart. So for me, I see it that way, as well as we're compelled forward toward the light. And as the light, you know, manifests from us, other people are like attracted, not necessarily attracted to us and our nafs, but attracted to the light. Anybody else have any hits on this?
Tamara has her hand raised, Rahima.
Okay. I guess Alima has the ultimate control here. Chantel, so I don't think I can change it. I think only Alima can. Great, thanks. Nope. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, salams. I took myself off mute. Yeah, the loving compulsion that also speaks to my heart, and my experience of it is, you know, from time to time when a higher station opens for a tasting, during that time, it's almost like Allah is compelling me to do certain things or to be a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I don't have any choice anymore. So it's kind of like compulsion, but it's not really force because it's so loving and so sweet, that you just can't resist it. It's kind of like that,
I
right?
think that's a good word. You can't resist it.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah.
Thank you. It is. It is irresistible. So again, there's so much in this writing here.
Hello.
I'm gonna jump around. Did somebody else want to say something? Okay.
I did. Can I be heard?
Yes, you can. Who are you?
Oh, okay. This is Iksan. How are you tonight?
Alhamdulillah.
This is such a wonderful subject. But what came up was magnetic.
Mm.
You know, like when you have two magnets, if they're aligned together, that you can't even pull them apart sometimes if they're really strong. You're just
Right.
pulled in that direction. And also, once you taste something, if you taste something and it's so good, you want to go back to it. You want to
Like
keep
chocolate.
knowing more about it. Yep, I'm so glad you said that.
Right.
Because I was thinking about chocolate. But the thing is, it's like faith. They say you have to have enough faith as a mustard seed is so small. Chocolate is like a mustard seed. I mean, we can't even imagine what it's like, how much love Allah has for us. It's beyond my comprehension. I only had one experience of such joy and love, and I was swimming with the dolphins in the wild, and one dolphin touched my heart with his little nose, and I had this explosion of this epiphany, and to me that's like Allah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so thank you for letting me share.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
One of the things that threads through this chapter, let me see if I can find a sentence. So I'm on page 395 toward the bottom. My delight is in my essence through my essence. That we're talking about the love of Allah, we're not simply talking about an attribute or quality. There is the attribute wadud, which is the love. But we're talking about that experience of complete disappearance and dissolution, not disillusion, dissolution into the essence of Allah. And that we're completely absent from ourselves. My delight is in my essence, through my essence. This is generally what we can say about the truth of love. Know that when the truth, praised and exalted is He, created the divine light, which is an expression for the secret of the existence of life, beauty, and perfection in the whole world, and when it appeared and revealed itself in the essence of the knowing and the wise, which are the honored angels, they were overwhelmed with a delight which cannot be described or imagined. What came to them of the manifestations of beauty, perfection, and light exceeded their delight, so that they looked at their essences and they saw that they were not able to contain the realization of the perfection of this light, for they vanished at the sight of it. This is referred to as His glory. So they prostrated, here comes the word compulsion again. So they prostrated to the power of His compulsion and the greatness of His glory. And they became conscious of their own non-existence beside His existence, and of their incompleteness compared with His completeness. This happened to them with two attributes, with love, which is delight, and love with something of a pain in it. When these essences were illuminated with this divine light and melted into it from its essences, they were intoxicated by Him until they became the complete light of love of their essence and of the Creator. This is the love of the essence and what it contains of the light of the truth, Al-Haq, exalted is He. So they prostrated to the power of His compulsion and the greatness of His glory, and they became conscious of their non-existence besides His existence, and of their incompleteness compared with His completeness. Here, Siddhi is referring to the angels, and then he talks about the human and the human form. But again, go back to your own experience, because it's doubtful that you would be on this path if you haven't had at least one experience where we vanish into the love. As a matter of fact, that's a lot of how healing happens, which is, as many of you know, one of my favorite topics, is that, when you're working with a piece of something in yourself that, quote, needs healing. Well, let me back up. We often believe ourselves or experience ourselves as solid. But as we're on this path, we know that what we're experiencing as solid is only an outer form, and that the reality of Allah is behind that. So in healing work, I'm sort of losing it for a moment here. In healing work, what happens is we open places in our being to the light that haven't known the light. And we have what might be a moment, or maybe more, because time is somewhat irrelevant, of absence when we are dissolved in the love. And then when we come back into form, something has changed because of that love. And that in a certain way is how we know the truth of our own non-existence compared to the existence of Allah. I'm hoping what I'm saying is making sense. It's making sense inside of me. How we know our own non-existence in relation to the existence of Allah. Because we've dissolved into the love, but then what comes back is different than who we were. So where did we go? Who we were no longer exists. But the love is the constant. The essence, the divine love is the constant. Anybody have any questions on that or comments on that before I move on? Okay. So I'm going to move down to the bottom of page 396. Fill yourself with the love of the beauty of the universe if you want to avail the secret of the two worlds. The nafs is like a mirror, and when it manifests, you can see in it the beauty of all that is imprinted in it. If the beauty is removed from the shade which covers it or conceals it, you'll find that it is inside you. And through the witnessing of the nafs and what it comes to see, it emerges. So see him through yourself and be absent from everything else. Then you will find through your essence that the meaning of everything has come together in you. This is a small part of an explanation of the reality of the love, but no one really understands it except the one who has understood the secret of the meaning of his words, exalted is he. Allah is, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. His light is like a niche. In it is a lamp, and the lamp is in a glass. For the truth, exalted is he, is in the light of the heavens and earth, and nothing is like it, because everything is from him and comes from him. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. His light is like a niche. In it is a lamp, and the lamp is in a glass. The metaphors of the near angels, the lamp, and the light represent the essences of the knowers, because they are the luminous and enlightened ones. The metaphor of the glass represents the knowing human self, an-nafs, which is pure and which accepts the light from other than itself. The metaphor of the niche represents the harmonious human bodies, which are so because of the reflection of the light in them. The love is the oil with which all these lamps are illuminated. The oil is taken from a holy tree, which is the tree of knowledge, which is neither from the east nor from the west, because it is beyond directions, and it cannot be known through any direction. This oil is the purity of the fruit, which almost gives light from the strength of its purity, although it has not been touched by any fire. This means that it illuminates even if it has not taken the light from other than itself, so that if the holy light shines on it, it becomes light upon light. So this is a description of our hearts, our human hearts. That our heart is like a lamp. It's a niche. In it is a lamp, and then the lamp is a glass. And the fire just burns. So again, while we need to be doing the work through our prayers, our practices, our healing work, the looking at our nafs, the clearing of our nafs, while we're having to do that work to clear off the glass, to clear the mirror, all the while the light of the love is still inside of us burning. In a way, it goes back to he loved us first, and then we loved him. The light is there. It's operating in a sense from the inside out, inspiring us, compelling us, calling us, drawing us. And without the love, none of that would happen. It's also why we're drawn to a sheikh. You know, there's some compelling force that draws us, that love, that light. It's like the light in us knows it. He loved us first, and then we loved him.
Hi.
Who's
Hello.
this?
This is Ixon again.
Okay.
I wrote this poem on love. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but
Okay.
it really, the first part really seems to hit home right now. So
Okay.
this was my experience of what I thought love was. When we know the deep love within us, we are transformed in 1,000 miraculous ways. Our spirit become calm in the face of change, and our souls lift us higher than ever before, for the love is now leading the way. We begin to see our finest selves awaken because we feel no need for masks or armor. Our hearts expand to hold more joy than we ever dared to dream. That's...
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Thank Allah.
Yeah. I think that's why there are so many songs about love, in that we can't simply talk about it. And see, he says that in the chapter, you can't simply describe it. And yet we know it. So love is an attribute of those brought near, and it is the completion of living existence and its perfection. The only beings without love are the lowest of its order, which are bodies without soul. And he goes on to talk about, ranks of existence and the human being's share of the love, and then the animals, and then the plants, and then the inanimate. So this next paragraph, which is on 398, when I was going over this, I felt was really, really important to the whole process of movement. If the complete love were directed to the awakened cells, it would make them more intoxicated through the purity of its wine, and would make them hear the sweetness of the music of its words, so that they would be filled with delight, and they would long for its higher dwelling place and its more shining domain. It would burn through the veils and boundaries and would hasten toward the horizon of the subtle secrets. Now this next sentence I underlined. However, its sweetness does not put an end to all pain, because one of the necessities of it is yearning. The lover enjoys the pain he is in, and he suffers from the joy he is in. It necessitates yearning. So this also goes along with what we were talking about with compulsion. Our deep desire for Allah. Going back to healing work, one of the ways when we get stuck in one of our patterns and we don't necessarily want to let go of it for whatever reason we happen to have at the moment for not wanting to let go of something, is finding the place in you that wants Allah more than you want anything. So when we're caught in something, it's on a more outer area of the heart. But when we drop into that longing, it will move us through anything and will help us begin to see again, because oftentimes we have to learn this over and over again, all the things that we get attached to, which are created rather than the creator. So dropping back in and finding the place of deep longing and desire. The stronger the sweetness of the love, the less its pain, until the pain vanishes, just as the light of a lamp is taken away when the sun appears. This is especially so when eyewitnessing comes, because the feeling of pain disturbs the purity of the witnessing, and it is a distraction. Do you not see that the love is a veil to the seeing of the beloved? You must forsake the seeing of the love through the attributes which are seen from the beloved. You must forsake the seeing of love through the seeing of the beloved. Love is only freed from pain when union comes. If the attributes which are seen from the beloved are immutable, they come with the increase of realization. So again, we're talking about the love that has to do with basically drowning in the essence of the beloved. While we're wanting to purify our attributes, we're also wanting to go beyond. We don't want to stop with the attributes. It only stops with union. The lover is not satisfied with anything except his beloved, and he does not stop with anything in his witnessing other than him until he arrives at the completion of his witnessing. So we can even get caught in love. In one, I can't remember which book it's in, maybe in Conversations in the Zawiya, where Sidi says, you know, somebody who loves a woman, if they stop with her body, you know, basically they're not getting to the essence. So wherever you stop, you're not getting to the essence and being completely in the love and in union with the love and absent from yourself. So we only have 10 more minutes, and I want to end with us doing the light prayer, since we read the little piece on the light in the niche. I'm just wondering if there are any other comments, questions, poems, expressions of love that anyone would like to share. Yes, yes, we have two people, Mariam and Chantel have unmuted. So let's go to Mariam first and then Chantel.
Just could you speak to the compulsion piece? Can you hear me?
I've just made my speaker louder. Could you say that again?
Let me put my other thing on. Can you speak to the compulsion piece? I'm not understanding that.
So more than what was said about that, obviously, if you're not understanding it. So
Thank you.
what we unpacked about this before is, the tractor being quality of the love, how we're drawn to it. They often use the metaphor of a moth being drawn to a flame. It's like being compelled to go to the flame, even though you're going to be destroyed by it. That the love has that kind of compelling quality. Does that help, Mariam?
Yes, when I see compulsion, it seems like a negative, but it's not.
Right. Well, there is definitely compulsion by somebody hitting you. But in this case, we're not talking about that. We're talking about, I hate to say it, if I see a piece of chocolate cake, I'm compelled to eat it. But it's a little like that. It's really, we're just so drawn. And that the light ignites the light in our own hearts. And we're desirous of union.
Okay.
That it becomes almost choiceless. So it's compulsion in that way, that it's just about choiceless. It's just that desire and that longing is so strong. And somebody used the example of magnets. It's like whomp. So we had a couple of other people who are unmuted here. Chantel, and then 15561 area code. Nope.
I just had 2 words. So.
I'm sorry, what's that?
I just had 2 words. It's a calling. It's kind of like it chooses you.
Yes.
Just like this work. I think those of us that have chosen this path are called to it.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Chantel, you're also unmuted, so is there something you want to add?
I just wanted to say how much I'm enjoying your pacing of the class.
Oh, thank you.
Interspersing it with remembrance as well, and it's really, really, really enjoying it. It feels just perfect.
Oh, alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
And when you write Music of the Soul, you're writing any of CD's books, you're not writing to get through it. You're writing and doing remembrance after every few lines or every paragraph to really take it into your heart. So since we read that little piece from the Quran, I just wanted to, if I can find it here. Thought I pulled it out. Here it is. I did pull it out. I just want to end with the light prayer. So just allow yourselves to open and receive. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Allahumma ij'al fi qalb hada al-insan nuran. Wafi nafs hada al insan nura. Wafi ruh hada al insan nura. Wafi akal hada al insan nura. Allahumma ij al an yamin hada al insan nura. Wa an yasar hada al insan nura. Wa mim imam hada al insan nura. Wa min khalf hada al insan nura. Wa tata aqdami hada al insan nura. Wa fakiras hada al insan nura. Allahumma ij'ali hada al insan nura. Allahumma asaluka al ijaba bisiri ayat al kursi. Allahu la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum. La ta'khudhuhu sinatun wa la nawm. Lahu ma fi samawati wa ma fil ard. Man alladhi yashfa'u indahu illa bi'idhnihi. Ya'lamu ma bayna aydihim wa ma khalfahum. Wa la yahituna bi shay'in min ilmihi illa bima sha'a. Wasi'a kursiyuhu samawati wa la Allahu tudrikuhu wa la al-azim. So I want to thank Allah for whatever benefit has come from this hour and a half today. I want to ask for forgiveness for anything I have done or said that may not have been in complete alignment with His will and wishes. And let's end with a Fatiha. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghayril maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amen. Thank you, beloveds.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much, Rahima, for this beautiful teaching.
Alhamdulillah.
It really feeds my soul, and I'm sure it does the same for each other participant.
Allah.
Thank you.
My dog wanted to come in to be introduced as the love. What? Oh, Sarah.
Many, many
Thank you,
thanks.
Rahima. That was beautiful. So
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Rahima.
I have some announcements.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rahima.
I want to hear the announcements.
Next week, our class is going to be on Friday, and it's going to be at 8 o'clock, 8 to 9:30. So remember, next week's class, it's not on Thursday. It will be on Friday. And also, we have the upcoming series beginning January 16. You can go to our website, unitypeaceprayer.com, and you can start to register and donate. There's a link where you can click on the donate link, and we'll be happy for you to join us again next series in January. Thank you, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. This is a beautiful time.
Oh, yay.
It's beautiful.
Adorable.
Adorable.
Oh,
Much love.
alhamdulillah.
Thank you for sharing your doors.
Thank you, Rahima. That was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you,
Alhamdulillah.
Rahima.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Rahima. Great
Assalamu
to see
alaikum.
you.
Alaikum assalam.
Thank you.
Lovely teaching. Thank you so much.
Yes, Rahima, lovely seeing you again. Assalamu alaikum.